If there's one cake that gets made again and again on my site, it's the lemon blueberry cake. It's soft, beautifully buttery, tender, and it tastes like a classic cake that you'd never know is made without eggs and dairy. If you're new here, hi, my name is Britt and I run a vegan baking blog, The Banana Diaries. I teach you how to take your absolute favorite nostalgic classic bakes and turn them into vegan masterpieces, but all using a bowl and a whisk, making it super easy and so that nobody will know that it's entirely egg and dairy free. Yep, there's no eggs, no dairy, every single time. And today we're making this vegan lemon blueberry cake. Stella, no, you cannot have lemon. You're not allowed the lemon. I will give you more blueberries afterwards. Let's get started. Okay, I think this is what we're gonna need. Standard ingredients that you use to make a cake. Except we're doing a little bit different now. We're also going to be adding in some vegan ingredients. You got your dairy-free yogurt for your egg replacement. I do have homemade vegan butter. I typically call for vegan butter in this recipe, but I like it more when I use just oil. So we're gonna use oil. We're gonna save this for the frosting. You cannot have a lemon blueberry cake without lemons and blueberries. Let's rinse these blueberries up. Bowl, 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 bowl. Oh. I need help. Can you help me, please? We have 2 pints of fresh blueberries here. These ones have so many stems on them. It's not gonna hurt you if you have stems in your cake, but I don't think that it's like a nice mouthfeel. So we're gonna try to remove these stems. All right, so we're gonna roll out this lemon because I want it to be a little bit softer when you squeeze it so that the juices come out a little bit easier. I have already sprayed our 2 8-inch cake pans. You just spray with a little bit of oil. And I have these nice little parchment paper rounds that I put in there that are pre-cut. So you can also just cut them, but I bake a lot of cakes, so this makes sense. All right, we're gonna set these aside. Next up, I did not bring these to room temperature beforehand. You don't have to wait hours to bring things to room temperature. You can just use a microwave. So that's what I usually do. We're gonna pour in 360 milliliters of dairy-free milk of choice. I'm using soy milk. You can use almond milk, oat milk, cashew milk, all of those work. All right, so we're gonna pop this into the microwave. Make sure that it's room temperature. We don't want it hot, we want it room temperature. We also need to do this with the dairy-free yogurt. So, all right, half a cup or 120 grams of dairy-free yogurt. I am using this Greek-style yogurt. I find that when you have more protein in your dairy-free yogurt, there are better results because we're not using eggs, we're using dairy-free yogurt, and so that doesn't usually have a lot of protein, but when you get a Greek-style yogurt, they add in a little bit of protein. Protein gives structure to your cake, so it's going to help it rise and actually keep that rise. Microwave this just for a few seconds here to get it to room temp. All right, now that we have our ingredients prepped, we are going to lightly flour our blueberries. Adding just a tablespoon of flour mixed in with the blueberries is going to help the blueberries stay in place in the batter and not sink down when they bake. Now we're going to rub our lemon zest into our sugar. We're gonna do 300 grams of sugar. Oh, shoot, I overmeasured. This is the helpful part about using a kitchen scale here is that you can also just like take it back out and you don't have to worry about over measuring. You're gonna be like super accurate. And now we're at 310 grams, that's totally fine. All right, next up, we are going to be zesting in our lemon. We wanna use 1 full lemon here. And what this is gonna do is that because we're not using any lemon extract in our cake, we're only using fresh lemon. We don't wanna skip this step because rubbing the lemon zest into the sugar helps to release all of those lemon oils. And so you get a naturally vibrant lemon cake without any extracts. All right, now you just rub with clean fingers the lemon zest into the sugar. All right, now let's finish up our batter. Just gonna grab the sea salt and the vanilla. So now we're gonna add in our oil. We're gonna do half a cup of a neutral oil. I'm using avocado oil. Add in our half a cup of dairy-free yogurt. And normally, again, I would just measure this into the bowl, but I had to heat that in the microwave to bring it to room temperature. So anyways, all right, and now we're gonna do a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And yes, a tablespoon. Vanilla is the base of all your flavors. It's going to really amplify everything. Now we're gonna give this a whisk. So this is kind of not the ordinary, but I actually like to measure my leavening agents directly into the wet ingredients and not into the dry. So that's why this is a 1 bowl recipe. I find that it whisks much more, I find that it's a much more consistent distribution of the leavening agents than if you just whisk it into the dry, and you also get to save not using another bowl. So 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and we're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Give that a whisk. Alrighty, so we're gonna be doing 3 2/3 of a cup of cake flour, or 440 grams. I do need the extra box. I'm happy I got that out. Oh, actually, I don't. There we go, that was 440, right on the, 441, damn. All right, and then we're gonna pour in our dairy-free milk, which is, again, 360 milliliters. Oh, we forgot the salt. Oh my gosh, whoops. It's okay. We're just gonna do like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in there. Give that a whisk, because that would not taste good if you forget the salt. If you don't add in the salt, then you're not gonna have enough balance of sweetness to the rest of the flavors, so it's gonna taste overly sweet. You need that salt because it helps enhance the other flavors like our lemon and our jammy blueberries. You're gonna slice your lemon in half. Technically, we typically would squeeze this into our dairy-free milk to make the buttermilk, but I actually find that it's best if you just squeeze it directly in. I don't know the science behind that, but when I've tested this, I find that the cake rises better when the lemon is freshly squeezed into the batter after we've added in the dairy-free milk, rather than it being mixed into the dairy-free milk. Again, I don't know the science, but it is that. So give that a whisk into our batter, and now it's gonna start to fluff up because we have the acid reacting with the baking soda, and that's gonna make our cake really nice and light. And you don't need all the clumps to disappear from the batter. A few clumps is totally fine because that's going to help the cake just rise. You really wanna avoid overmixing the cake. So we're gonna set aside our whisk right now because now we have to fold in our blueberries, or else it's not a lemon blueberry cake. Blueberry time. Switch to the silicone spatula and fold the blueberries into your cake. Oh my gosh, I love that it's just speckled with the blueberries. They're gonna bake so nice in the oven. Now let's divide into our cake pans. We're just doing 2 cake pans, so it's pretty easy to like make this even. If I was doing 3, I like to weigh it out, the batter, but you can kind of eyeball it here. All right, and if you really wanna make sure that they're even, what I like to do is scoop the rest of the batter into here, and you're just gonna stick the spoon into the cake and see that line? That should be where the other cake goes. So we'll stick that in there, and it's right about there. So that's great. These are gonna be pretty even. Now we're gonna get these into the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 30 minutes. Like cakes.
A few moments later.
All right, time to take them out. Let's let these cool and then we can frost our cake. All right, so confession to make, these were actually baked yesterday, hence why this has a little bit of the cake part missing because I wrapped them obviously to cool them. Yes, I am wearing the same outfit from yesterday because continuity, but I will wash this afterwards. Cakes are now fully cooled because they've been cooling overnight. I have room temperature vegan butter. This is homemade vegan butter. Can't share the recipe with you just yet, so you can use store-bought, but it's coming. It's freaking phenomenal.
All right then, keep your secrets.
And we can brown butter with it too. So let's make our blueberry lemon frosting. Oh my God. Aside from the vegan butter, which is room temperature, we are going to need cold vegan cream cheese. That is key for getting a smooth and stable cream cheese frosting. And we also have some homemade vegan blueberry jam that I'm gonna use. It's wonderful. That's how we're gonna get the punchy, beautiful, vibrant color. And I wanna decide, you know, I think I actually wanna do Kite Hill instead. So 2 vegan cream cheeses that I like to use are Kite Hill and Tofutti. I feel like for this frosting, it's best to use Kite Hill because it's a little bit softer to integrate into the frosting. I don't want any clumps, which can sometimes happen with Tofutti because it's a harder cream cheese. Excellent for cheesecakes. I prefer Tofutti for cheesecakes over frostings, Kite Hill for frostings over cheesecakes. So I wanna use a paddle attachment for this. I used to use a whisk a lot, but honestly, it just aerates your frosting a little bit too much. You want that smooth consistency, so we're switching to a paddle attachment instead of a whisk. So we have 2 cups of room temperature vegan butter. We're gonna add in 1 cup of cold vegan cream cheese. Now we're going to mix together. That's mixed in, we're gonna add in our flavor enhancers, which is the vanilla extract and sea salt. I like to add in the sea salt here because I think it just distributes it through the frosting better. You also want to use salted vegan butter as well. That's going to make sure that you have a nice balance of the sweetness to the saltiness and the other flavors going on there, so it doesn't just taste like a hit of sugar to your mouth. Next up is the powdered sugar. Sorry, that was a lot. It just kept going. Oh my God. It just sprays up everywhere in your face. It's a lot of powdered sugar. And we're gonna mix again. Make sure that you go slow because it will spray in your face. All right, and next bag of sugar. A lot of sugar goes into this, but we're making a lot of frosting. Nice and slow. Oh, no! Oh! Okay. It's so not fun making the kitchen a mess. This is my least favorite part. Okay, now we get to add in our blueberry jam. I love this because the color is so freaking vibrant. Like, you can already see it. Like, these blueberries are so beautiful and like purpley pink. So it's gonna make a really, really nice color. And we're using jam instead of fresh blueberries or even freeze-dried blueberries. I feel like the flavor is stronger. It makes a smoother frosting and you have less of a chance of splitting your buttercream. Or I guess it's cream cheese frosting. Oh, it is so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm gonna scrape down the bowl a bit. This just makes sure that everything is integrated into our frosting. Okay, and now we are ready to frost. Things that you need. You need a cake stand that can turn or a turntable. That's gonna be the easiest. If you don't, you can obviously still make your cake, but a turntable or a cake that can move like a turntable like this will be very useful. I have some vegan lemon curd that I also have left over, so I thought I'd fill that. This is not necessary, but the recipe is on my site, as is for the jam, or you can use store-bought jam. Let's get our frosting out of the fridge because I put it in there. It's so freaking hot in here still. I think it's like 90 degrees outside. So I needed to make sure that that frosting stayed good enough to be frosted on a cake. Let's start assembling our cake. So we have the cake layer here. It should just pop out. I banged it a few times. There we go. Look at how many blueberries are in there. It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And then you just peel that off and you have a perfect cake to assemble. Oh, I love it.
Wow, that's lovely.
It's like so moist and soft already. So I like to use an ice cream scoop to scoop about like 2 to 3 scoops of frosting. It's really up to you. There's no science to this, guys. It is frosting a cake. Then we just smooth the frosting on top. And then if I'm gonna fill it, I think I will fill it. I'm gonna just kind of like, you can pipe a border around it, but I kind of just like to make a well in the frosting, and it saves you the hassle of filling a piping bag. And it still looks nice when you slice into it. 3 tablespoons is probably good enough. I'm gonna spread that here, right in the middle. Then we're going to top with our second cake layer. The frosting is melting though, so I will have to chill this because it's so freaking hot. And then we're gonna smooth this over the edges of our cake. You can kind of see that the frosting is starting to pop out the sides there. That's totally fine because we're going to smear it all around our cake. So this is our crumb coat layer. I normally don't have to do a crumb coat layer for this cake because it's, you know, messy and just kind of fun, but it is so hot outside that I have to pop this into the fridge. Once your cake is fully frosted, even just in the crumb coat section, you can chill this in the fridge and it will lock in that moisture because buttercream and frostings are thick and they create a nice little insulation for your cake. He's been chilling for 20 minutes, so let's hope that's been good enough. I think that should do. It's just so hot, but. All right, we are going to finish with another cake layer. Now, normally, if I wasn't making this like kind of just a fun organic cake, I would smooth out these edges, which you'll see, I believe that this will be up before our vanilla cake, but on that cake, I'll show you how to smooth out the edges more. This, you can just go right into finishing with the final coat of frosting. So you just kind of go over the edges again and recoat it and make it look really nice and organic. I really love just a thick layer of frosting on my cakes. That's everyone's comment, is how thick I frost my cupcakes and my cakes. Oh, actually, can we add a few of these flowers? We can add a few flowers on top. Oh, Cosmo. Oh my gosh, this looks like my first photo of it ever. When I made this, what, 6 years ago? Yay, I love it. There you have it. That is our vegan lemon blueberry cake. If you make this recipe, please let me know. I absolutely love to see your creations and how it turns out for you. So drop a comment down below. As always, you can find the full recipe down below in the description. It's linked right there. And be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.